everybody!
Hey guys, welcome back to another Power Trip Gaming Retrospective.
We are moving on to Gun-Nac.
I almost said Xanac.
There is a reference to
Yes,
Xanac.
there is. But yes, we are covering Gun-Nac.
That's right.
Developed by Compile.
Beautiful
and
Compile,
published
man.
by ASCII, a.k.a. Nextsoft, in September of 1991 in the United States.
Was it actually Nextsoft?
It wasn't Nextsoft.
Why did you say that?
Because actually Nextsoft and ASCII were the same company.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wasn't. I thought I was wrong. I thought you were just saying that.
No. Yeah, they literally were the same company.
Well then.
Because
Cool.
I've actually seen was it promotional posters and stuff like that that had ASCII games on them, and Xanac was on the poster and it had Nextsoft on the bottom of it. But then when we see the game cartridge label art and stuff like that, it's ASCII. So
okay.
I don't know why they split off into two different companies, but yeah,
Maybe it's
ASCII
two
and
different
Nextsoft
teams,
was-
I guess.
It could have been.
Whatever, man. So this game is Compile. I love Compile.
Yeah, Compile, they know their shooters.
Fuck.
And
Oh
this game is
my
a top-down
God.
shooter, and holy cow, is there a lot of crap going on in this game.
Woo! Compile also did Guardian Legend. They also did Xanac, which this is kind of a spiritual successor to Xanac in a way.
Yeah.
This came out in September 1991 for us.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
Fuck, man, this game is amazing. I don't know. This game's cool. I had a really, really good time with it.
I did too. It's the game is so incredibly colorful and just so vibrant, and there's just so much going on, but yet everything just feels so fluid and just so, I don't know, it feels right.
It does, man.
Like, the soundtrack was just kick-ass, wonderful. The graphics were just, like, for 1991.
Beautiful.
I understand it was kind of late in the Nintendo's timeline, but man, did Compile really get, like, really vibrant, colorful graphics and just great-looking, like, just backgrounds and everything.
From the enemies to the Bulma-esque shopkeeper from Dragon Ball, because she looked like Bulma.
That's
Just
right.
The graphics were so beautiful and adorable, and just the whole game played beautifully.
It
man.
really did. It really
Shit.
did. Tight controls, great graphics, just
Good variety of weaponry.
Yeah, good variety of weapons.
Well,
really
fun.
responsive controls and stuff like that. So
Absolutely, man. So let's jump into this shit.
So difficulty. What do you give this game for difficulty?
So, I feel to be honest, like putting my love of shmups of this era aside, fairly I'd say this game difficulty wise is fuck. Were there limited continues or were they unlimited? We never continued.
We never continued.
Fuck my ass. This game's a 4. Maybe a high 3. I remember we did not continue, and 1-ups were pretty abundant.
Yeah, they were.
So I mean, really, actually,
When you beat the last guy of the game, you get so much score from like the bonus.
5
You get 5 extra lives like right off the bat.
So, all right, we'll go high 3.
I honestly, I was around that same 4, maybe even leaning towards a 3. There are points of this game, especially later levels, where it gets brutal.
It gets
like,
pretty
brutal
real.
intense. And
Yeah.
I remember there was a point in the last level, or maybe it was the second to last level, where I lost a lot of lives. And actually,
Yeah, I
the last
did.
level, you lost a lot
I
of
lost
lives
a lot
too.
of lives on the final boss.
If more of those levels were like that, like in the early stages of the game, yeah, this game would have an insane difficulty.
Yeah.
But really, I think the learning curve is such that they get you into the game just kind of easing you in. It's really easy the first several levels. Then they just kind of gently kick up the difficulty until you realize that it's like, okay, well, it's getting more difficult, but it felt so natural that it was getting
Absolutely.
more difficult.
It was a nice
It was a
steady
nice
slope.
Yes, steady and slow progression.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you are armed to the fucking teeth in this game.
Yes, you are.
You are given so many different arrays of weapons, and then not only that, but you can power those weapons up. In between stages, you can buy weapons, attachments. You can pretty much deck your ass out to where you're good.
You're just
Like-
things cannot get to you.
I remember the weird boomerang weapon that was homing You had the flamethrower thing.
Mhm.
I mean, just the bombs themselves were so cool.
Your ship could be bigger so that you could have like the not outriggers but like the extensions so that
Yeah.
you're shooting like 3 beams instead of 1. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this game that makes it easy. Like we said before, the extra lives, we really didn't know what it was that was causing us to gain 1-ups, but we found that there was times where we were gaining a lot of 1-ups.
Yeah.
And so the score, it seemed like you were getting 1-ups a lot. You were getting them for low point value scores, but yet everything that you killed in the bosses that you killed were giving you high point scores.
Yeah.
So it's like completely backwards from from the classic game style.
Yeah.
Where they're barely giving you 1-up chances through the score. So you were getting a lot of 1-ups. The power-ups stacked so that basically you were just, the more power-ups you got, the stronger you would be. Made the game just a breeze in certain areas.
Yeah.
Again, I don't even know if you get unlimited continues or if you have continues in the first place, because we basically beat through the entire game without using a continue.
Which is unprecedented for us.
That is, because there are certain games where we suck.
We continue
bad.
a lot.
Yes, we do.
And this one, we didn't even need to.
No, we didn't. So that's why, in good faith, I got to give it a 3, because we literally just picked this game up and without blowing through a single continue, we beat the game.
Yeah.
So I think this game is on the lower side of difficulty compared to what other games that we've actually played.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So we'll move on to fun. What would you give this game for fun?
So for fun, I would have to say, and you may not agree with me too, but this game is definitely above average for fun. You will definitely have a good time with this game. I would give it probably a 6. Maybe that's not high enough. I knew. But it's great soundtrack. This game has a kicking soundtrack. Everything is just, it looks great. It's so much fun to play. I could see me coming back to playing this game again.
Absolutely.
Over and over and over again. One of my biggest gripes that I had with this game, though, is that even though the graphics are really great, really fun, and the hitbox detection, fantastic, but there were certain things like in the background and then in the foreground that you didn't know whether or not it was, you could touch certain things or if you couldn't. If something was going to kill you, or if you had to blow it up so that you could progress, or if you couldn't at all. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to distinguish those background, like the images in the background of what you could touch, what you couldn't touch. It got a little bit difficult. It got a little bit tedious because there were certain points where there was a lot of stuff on the screen.
Oh,
there was a lot of stuff coming at you.
Yes,
so it just really gets to be difficult to have to deal with that and try to kind of isolate, okay, what is it that I'm trying to watch out for? What is it that I need to attack? What is it that I can just kind of go past, whatever it is?
Yeah.
So it got a little bit tedious in that sense, but everything else is just really strong with this game, I have to say. Difficulty's not completely there, of course, because it's a pretty easy game. So
straightforward.
I think it needed a little bit more challenge, but at the same time, this is a great game, and I can't really pick it apart for little things like that. So,
yeah.
But I would say a 6.
All right. I personally have a soft spot for Compile. Their games they blow me away every time.
Compile's got a great track record.
They really
as far as development companies that we've seen of the games that we've played. I mean, we've seen some real crappy developers. Compile just seems to have hit. I mean, they hit a home run every single time they've developed a game.
I'll say it's a shame they didn't do more.
I know.
Fuck. So for me, I mean, I'd give this game like an 8. I love this game. But then again, you know, it reminded me so much of Guardian Legend, and I know I need to take nostalgia out of it. But, like, this is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. I loved the graphics. The fact that you could get different forms of the bomb, from the waterfall to the weird, goofy, bouncy laser that killed everything. It was so cool, and you could play the game again with different power-ups, maybe not using certain power-ups. Like, I feel like the game was very well done for its genre.
Yeah, in that sense, you could actually make the game artificially more difficult than by maybe doing what we had said with Contra, how people may find it really easy because they're used to getting the weapons. Well, try to play through without getting any of the weapons or the upgrades or anything like that. And you can actually make this game more difficult by doing that to give it that challenge. So
I mean, but I love this game. The music was great. The graphics were great. Controls were great. This game was great.
It really was. I think I would, you know what, I would up my opinion to a 7, actually, at least.
I got one.
You did. You did. Just because, yeah, like I said, I shouldn't pick it apart for the small flaws because overall this game was fantastic. This is one of those games that I think really, in the early on times of Nintendo, people weren't really talking about Gun-Nac. It was one of those games that was just really obscure. It didn't get the coverage in Nintendo Power that it may have deserved. And unfortunately, it was probably lost in the translation in, of course, 1991 is when, in America, the Super Nintendo is what kind of took over the reins of the Nintendo. So I think during that transition, a lot of good games that came out around that time were really lost because people were then transitioning into the Super Nintendo and not really continuing into the vein of the Nintendo. But unfortunately, that's when Nintendo really hit their stride with a lot of their games, understood the technology, understood the limitations, what they were capable of doing, and some of the greatest games came out in that era and beyond.
Absolutely.
To the end of its timeline. So it's unfortunate that this game really doesn't get the praise that it deserves. But I think with the advent of YouTube and the internet, of course, I think the secret's starting to kind of come out that Gun-Nac is actually a really fantastic game.
I think so, man. It's going the way of a lot of games from that era.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're starting to realize how great some of these games are.
And they're going back to them.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, shit. So there we go.
So, now, the tricky part.
Is
it worth it?
Paul, how much did you spend on Gun-Nac?
So, on Gun-Nac, I bought this game back in, I want to say it was around 2011. So, or maybe even 2010. So it was at the, I wouldn't even say the tip of the iceberg. I think we were approaching the iceberg, but like unfortunately the Titanic, sorry to use such a morbid example, I don't think that we knew that we were about to hit an iceberg. Basically with the collecting bubble being what it is. And this game, it was expensive at the time that I bought it, but at the same time, comparatively speaking, not that much. I want to say I spent about $74.95 is what I paid for this game. So about $75. It was at the time it was one of the more expensive games that I had bought on the system. But it was one that I knew was kind of an obscure game. You didn't really see much of it.
I don't see it very much even now.
I only saw it once in the wild, and that's the one that I ended up buying. I found it at a store in downtown Chicago. Yeah, called People Play Games, actually. It was one of the very first times. That was actually before I had even introduced you to the store. That was one of the first times I was there, and I realized what the store was, and I found the game there, and I scooped it up. So,
wow.
So, yeah.
So, according to PriceCharting.com, this game goes for $200.
Just cart only.
$200. This game has inflated.
It certainly has. It's one of those games that the secret might be out completely, that people know it's a great game, they know it's rare, and with the collecting bubble where it is, it may be an inflated price that in the coming months may end up going down. If the bubble ever bursts, I mean...
I still see this game...
That's the thing, because with this game, even if the bubble bursts this game, it doesn't mean that this game is going to be easier to find. It's still it's a really hard game to find.
I'd see this game
out in the wild.
Settling back to what you about paid for it. If the bubble bursts to a point where collecting slows down, I could see it settling back towards like that $80, $85 mark.
But this is one game that I don't even really see at conventions, really, because it's really in that middle. It's not an iconic title like a Flintstones Dinosaur Peak or a Little Samson.
Which you see a shitload of at conventions.
But yet it's not one of those common games like a
Super Mario Brothers.
Like a Super Mario Brothers or
Final Fantasy.
I'm trying to think of like a rarer game that's kind of in that $50 to $60 price
Oh
range.
fuck!
That
Wow, definitely none of those.
yeah, I know that you see like one of the Mega Mans actually.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a Mega Man 1 or a Mega Man 5 or something like that. So it's really it's kind of in the middle where people just you really don't see it at all.
No, you really don't. Now that I think about it, like I really don't. I haven't seen this game much at all.
No.
Since we've been out on our endeavors,
Mhm.
and hell,
No.
to be honest, I remember hearing about it back in the day, but never gave it a second thought.
Yeah.
Like nobody really talks about this game. It's one of those just like Jackie Chan, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So
hidden gem, nobody really dusted off and gave love to.
So I would say even if I knew that this game fell in price to like 50, what I paid for it, I would be completely happy. I would say it's worth it. It's worth every penny. At $200, then you have to start questioning. If you are trying to be a completist and trying to get all of the Nintendo games, then obviously I think $200 is probably worth it because you're getting a great game. You're getting great bang for your buck. Everything there is it's solid with the game. It's a really rare game, so paying $200 doesn't really seem like it's that big of a well, it's still a big deal, but it almost feels semi-justified.
It's the cheaper of the Titans.
It really is.
It's like a
It really
smaller
is.
Titan in the Nintendo line. I mean, when you're coming up against little Samsons and
Dragon Fighters,
Dragon
Bonk's
Fight-
Adventure, and
where you're
all those
talking
ones.
over
hundreds,
Hundred-
like $300 to
Yeah.
$500.
Surprise the Dinosaur Peak, where you're hitting
$700-$800. Yeah.
upwards of 1,000.
Mhm.
This game it looks a lot more affordable, and you're getting a great game.
You are.
It's not. I think it's almost a bigger slap in the face when you spend that amount of money for a game that's kind of shit. But
Like
to be honest-
$100 for Color a Dinosaur. Mm-hmm.
Was it really?
That's $100.
Oh fuck me!
Or Swamp Thing is a $100 game, and that game is a piece of shit.
Zombie Nation isn't really that great of a game either.
Zombie Nation is over $300, and somehow that game, is not great.
So if you think about it in terms like that, 200.
Honestly,
As far as quality of game, I would say 200 is worth it.
honestly, I would say that in this case, I would say $200 is worth it.
Yeah.
If you're a completist, definitely worth it. If you are into shoot 'em ups, definitely worth it. I would try to seek this out, find it for as cheap as you possibly can, but it's definitely worth the investment.
I think so.
Because, like I said, it's a great game. You are getting quality for the amount of money that you're spending, and this game's not gonna. It's not suddenly if like we said, if this collecting bubble bursts, it's not suddenly going to become just. It's not gonna be there in more stores. No. It's not going to make this game less common. So I think the investment is actually very safe if you do want to pick up this game for $200.
I'd say so.
So,
Well, there you go, man. Fucking Gun-Nac.
that being said, that is Gun-Nac
In the
Retrospective in the bank.
I really did enjoy this game.
Yeah, this was a good game.
Holy shit.
And it makes me really actually excited to play Gun-Nac too, because from what it sounds like, this game was kind of like a spiritual successor, if not a direct sequel to Gun-Nac.
Mhm.
Because you're trying to, I guess you're the son of Zan, who is the main character from Gun-Nac. And so, it's almost like the world has kind of crumbled, and now you have to get people to this new planet
Artificial.
where it has to be more inhabitable, and so you need to take out a lot of stuff. So
Well, fuck.
great game.
Absolutely.
So remember to hit us up on Facebook.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Check out powertripgaming.tv. It takes you right to our channel. We have a link in the description so that you can actually watch our playthrough of Gun-Nac. It was a fantastic game. And me and Andy both enjoyed this game from literally start to finish. I don't think that there was actually one point where we were frustrated or where we really just kind of didn't like what we were doing.
Mhm.
This game was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Through and through, from start to finish. It was great.
This game, unfortunately, was very flicker heavy in the fact that if you watch our video, it was pretty early in our editing. So there'll be some images you see, some images you don't see.
Yeah.
I would at some point like to go back and remaster our older games.
Mhm.
Like the Kickmaster was another one that was very flicker heavy, and get them cleaned up, get it looking good so you guys can see all the action, and maybe we'll repost those at a later date.
Yeah.
But for right now, that's what we got.
Yep.
And it's really good. You guys should watch it. Watch Guardian Legend, another compile game.
Yes. Yes, that was a fantastic game too.
Absolutely. So there we go.
All right, that's it.
Next time on Power Trip Gaming Retrospective.
We'll review something better. Can we really review something better?
It's going to be tough.
This is a really good game. I don't know how we're going to review something better.
I don't know.
I just don't know how we're going to review something better. How do you review something better when you have something so good?
Fuck it. These fucking kids these days coming out with such good things, and then you get they're good things, and nothing's good anymore.
Let's go play Call of Duty.
Fuck Call of Duty. Go play some other bullshit.